Hello. Hello. How many gems are there maximum in the main games? Let's find out. This may be relevant, it may not be relevant. Oh, I guess we're recompiling shaders or something. Gem. Oh, whoops. 17. Really? 17? That's it? I guess that's true, because that's how many there are here. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17. Okay. How about the next one? More. 30. And then 29. So 30 is the max number of gems that you would carry in one of these. So, let's get rid of the HUD drawing of the gems. In fact, let's get rid of this whole function. The hell? Why wasn't that in my cut buffer? Because I screwed up. All right, just putting that in the code graveyard for if I want it later. And no HUD. Now. No HUD. Okay. We blue screened last night at the end of the stream, so I don't have any buffers loaded. Actually, let's go here. We'll just modify this level. Okay. So what I'm doing, I used to, we had this crappy looking HUD that would draw how many gems you have on the side of the screen. And we're going to like put them on the character instead. And at first, it'll be not in a very good way on the character, but I just want to lay down the code for doing this. And then later we can, etc. Are all levels infinite at the edges? No. How far am I away from to-do list endgame? Well, as we established last night, there's only about infinity minus 7 things left to do. So kind of like a gem fanny pack, except you'll be able to see the individual gems. We probably won't show 30 visibly. What we'll do is we'll show the first 6 or 8, and then beyond that, they'll go nowhere. Because you don't, like, once you have beyond a certain number, you don't really need to know. Maybe like, I mean, I guess we could just keep going up to like 15. After like 15, there's no way you care how many you actually have. Okay. Have I seen the new Sonic movie trailer? Yes, and I don't understand. Like, people are on the internet or having fun talking about it. It just looks like every other shitty movie. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand how that Sonic trailer is different from whatever superhero movie just came out. Like, it's the same thing. Like, I don't understand why people are pretending those are different things. Yeah, if you look at the original Sonic character, it's not a very well designed character. So, like, to complain about this one, I don't know. I have never played a Sonic game. I have no Sonic nostalgia. And once again, I mean, again, I think all these movies are stupid, but like, they had a set of constraints of this character being on screen and being able to talk to human actors and stuff. And like, you go solve that engineering problem of how to make that film filmable and not look stupid, and design the character that solves those problems, And let's see if you do it better than these guys do. I'm not saying they did it well, but like I guarantee you 99% of the people jawing about this on the internet would do a worse job at solving that problem. So that's why I just can't. I have no time for it. It's like, do I have an other idea instead of using gem? No, this game has fucking gems in it. That's what it is. You can criticize without being a professional. No, you fucking can't. I'm tired of people saying that. You can do low-grade Twitter quality criticism, fine, but it's not worth anybody even reading. Unless you know what you're talking about, your criticism isn't worth anything, okay? That is the new era that we live in. And the reason that's true is because there's so much speech now, and there's so many people saying what they think, and almost none of it is worth paying attention to, right? So if I were you, I would stop trying to justify worthless speech by saying, well, you don't have to be an expert to criticize. And I would start trying to make sure that my speech got real things done instead of just being yet another Cheeto eating internet person's commentary. Wow, I'm really in rant mode today. I'm really in rant mode today. No, nobody in the world needs to read more internet criticism of anything, okay? We have way more internet criticism than we can stand, and most of it is dumb, okay? So the less we do to add to that, the better. Oh, you can criticize it if you want. Just don't expect me to bother listening to you. If you teach me that when I listen to you, what I get is useless criticism, I'm going to stop listening to you. That's a natural human response, right? Uninformed, useless criticism will lead people who know what they're talking about to stop listening to the people giving uninformed, useless criticism, right? So if I were you, my recommendation is to make sure that you're not one of those people. And that goes for everybody watching, right? You have a choice about which path your life goes on. It's an important choice. I say that as somebody who did lots of uninformed, useless criticism when I was younger. Although it wasn't obvious how pointless that was because we didn't have the internet to the degree we have today. Don't waste time like I did. All right. So someone just said, take what is useful, discard the rest. That's a strategy for back before we had more speech than anyone could ever pay attention to, right? Now, there are so many opinions that you can't bother to read them to take what is useful, because if you do that, you'll never get any work done. You have to preemptively ignore almost everybody in order to get work done. That is the new reality of the internet world that we have set up, okay? And people aren't going to like this, but it means that you have to judge a book by its cover way more often than you used to, and just ignore most people immediately, right? Unless you never want to, accomplish anything tangible. And so what I'm saying is, be aware that that is the survival strategy for successful people, all right? And if you want to interact with successful people, and you want to, grow into the ranks of successful people, for those of you out there who are young, then make sure that you're not one of the people who gets weeded out by those who value their time, all right? I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it flat out like that, but this is what I've learned. And this has actually been true for decades at least, but it's more true the past couple years than it's ever been. Okay? If you show yourself, the background is constant low quality noise, low quality information, roiling noise, right? And if you display yourself as being part of that, then the people who want higher quality things than that will just see you as part of that background they want to get away from, and they will get away from you, okay? So if you yourself want something better than that, then you also have to get away from it, right? And then in the process of getting away from it, you'll probably naturally make contact with the other people getting away from it. That's all. It really wasn't worth that big of a rant, this Sonic movie, but I just got started on it because I did. Okay. So what we're doing today is putting gems on the guy instead of on the HUD. And I've just commented out the HUD thinger, the old code, the really old code, some of the first code that was typed into this game in 2016 when it was 2D and I was just getting the initial games up and running. So that served its purpose, and now it's relegated to the old file. So now we have to do some stuff about putting the gems on the character, and we're just going to mount them very rigidly on his root for a while, and then maybe later. Actually, before we even do that, we'll change what we're doing. So right now we have an integer that's how many gems am I carrying, right? Each character has this integer. And I want to switch over from that integer to just like gems mark themselves as being in that character's inventory. And then when you drop a gem, we search for the one with like the highest inventory index. So instead of deleting and creating these gems, we'll just use the existing ones, which is also going to be good because then our light map manager won't freak out. Like we'll be able to light map the gems and it'll be easier to keep track of that stuff. Now I already, for the synthetic gem stuff, which some people may have seen me work on streams a long time ago, also a little bit last night. For the synthetic gem stuff, we already have stuff like being attached to a player in an inventory index. And so what I did at work today is I did a little bit of stuff to make those values be more reusable. And now I'm going to try to reuse them I'm going to make a parallel code path for the non-synthetic gems that echoes what the synthetic gems do. And then maybe they'll end up being factored together. I don't know. I'm winging it. Was my comment in relation to you wasting my time? Not really, no. I was talking about gossiping. Okay. Yeah, so well, we have update synthetic gems. I could do update non-synthetic gems. Well, where does this get called from? This gets called from, oh, actually, right, I just said we're not going to worry about the visuals yet. We're just going to track the inventory invisibly. So Let me go to entities. On guy, there's a number of gems somewhere. Or is it in the level state? Take gem. Gems in inventory. Okay, so we want to modify all the old code to not destroy these gems, but we do want to do something. So instead of destroying the gems, so this is not going to go there. Actually, we do want a gems in inventory counter, I guess. No, we don't. We're going to write code that's a little bit slower. Find the highest gem in the guy's inventory. If it exists, give us a inventory index that is one higher than that. Other gem is get gem with highest inventory index of guy. We're going to say new index is 0 if other gem new index equals other gem dot inventory index plus 1. Okay. Now, instead of then destroying the gem as well, okay, we want to say gem dot inventory index is new index. Gem dot attached to entity ID is guy dot entity ID. Okay. And then we're just going to make it invisible and remove it from the collision grid. See, it's always possible that we're looking for gems in some way not through the collision grid, but it looks like we are. Find it position is going through the collision grid. Okay. Let's just see what happens. So do we just say remove from grid? Yeah. Okay. Let's do that before we remove from grid, just in case. So we take the gem. Oh, let's make it invisible. Okay, and then drop gem. Does the following. Oh wait, drop gem at is a, okay. Drop gem at, okay. Gem to drop is going to be this same thing. We want to take the one with the highest inventory index from the guy, right? If gem to drop, then we do these things. Otherwise, some feedback. And we could actually whatever. Okay, so this is a weird endgame thing. Okay, so that's good. Great. Let's define this. This is just going to search over all gems in the frickin' world. Manager for manager by type gem. If it is synthetic, return best gem, best index -1, best gem, return best gem. Not return, continue, bro. Okay, if it dot attach to entity ID is not even entity ID, continue. If it dot inventory index is greater than if best gem and well, if not best gem is it, else if it dot inventory index is greater than best gem dot inventory index, best gem is it. Okay, and then let's just swap I like having the positive case first. Okay. I guess we could just say not best gem or this, but it's just harder to understand that. But we could do that if we wanted to. Could do some De Morgan's Law, man. Okay, so I don't know, man. Drop gem at probably still makes a gem. Okay, so instead of add to grid, gem, really? What the hell? Who calls add? Add to grid. Who calls that? 2. That was right here. Oh, we do it right there. Duh. Okay, we'll just keep it there. Okay. Um, okay, actually, we have to call this. Because I'm saying give me this many gems, but I might already have some gems. Okay. Okay. Oh no. This is also draws gems, this HUD routine, but we don't care. Then we're going to check that during the victory condition. Actually, let's do this. Let's just make this treasures for now. I overloaded it to be a gem counter for both games, but we'll just do this. Oh no. Okay. So when we're merging guys, because they clone, we want to destroy the gems that belong to one of them, I guess. I mean, I guess we should just do that. I don't want to put that in schedule for destruction. Anyway. Okay. Okay. So now we gotta fulfill our promises. So we need okay. Number of gems we wanted. What frickin' file were we in? I'm just going to assume it was called get number of gems, and when that's wrong, we'll find out why. Okay. Destroy held gems. Oh. Okay. Uh-oh. Here's trouble right here. Remember how I said, what if people don't get things through the proximity grid? Well, this ain't. This ain't. Why did I do this way? That was weird. Okay. What's up, William Chur? What's up, everybody? Wow, we've got a bunch of game developers in the chat. What? I just focus on my work for a little bit, and then just everybody's here. That's what happens. Okay. Okay, 1911 again. And then 1927. Oh, 1914. Get number of gems. Okay. This is going to be so broken, it's hilarious. Okay. First of all, wait, this is... Oh, right, because I remember now. We were doing our make sure we die when we go in the fire. That is definitely what happens. Oh. Okay. We now want to change this level. These are not the things we're testing for now. We are testing for this. All right. So, I'm trying to put things there. We're not crashing. That's good. I picked something up. Okay, I dropped it. Oh, we forgot to set it visible. Okay. Okay. I guess get number of gems was the right name. It's not there still. Okay, can I pick up 2 gems and drop them both? 1, 2. No. Okay, because we're not detaching it. That's the other thing. See, when I drop one, we're getting the same one because it's coming off the other slot. All right. Because I didn't have to do any of this stuff before because it was a newly created gem. Still not as broken as it could have been. 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. They're even in the places. Okay. This is not bad. You know, I think we're going to run a Benny test. I mean, let me try the synthetic gems in Promise 3 and make sure they didn't break. Well, let me try my gems command. Okay, we don't set the mesh on any of the gems. That's a problem. It's a question mark gem. Maybe that's fine for our cheat command, but no, we'll set it. Our cheat gems do not. Okay, there's our synthetic gems. Do they still power slots okay? Yes. Okay, so we're doing pretty good. Let me fix the gems command. What is the... Game prom gem A. So when we do this, all right. So now if I do the same thing, I say gems. I don't get a bunch of errors spewed, and they actually have meshes. That's great. Look at that. Okay, release builds. What is going on, people? You think the unsocketed gem spinning is unintended? That is true. I think they also probably shouldn't glow brighter. So, like what happens is we check the room power state and then we copy that onto all gems, but gems that are not in the room probably shouldn't have that done, but it's very rare to see that, although not totally rare, so we should definitely fix it. I guess we haven't built shaders on this version of the game. God damn it, dude. We have to do something about this. What is the purpose of passing a transaction ID to some functions? Because the gameplay runs off transaction IDs. That's how it works. Like when you do a move, it's like the various gameplay states that happen according to that move need to all happen or none happen because it's a transaction. Because it's a puzzle game. Yeah, I think one of the reasons, I don't know, I shouldn't say what just went through my head about the Chris Hecker spy party situation. It's just, he needs to go back and give some new speeches to reflect what he has actually done, as opposed to, I don't know. It just irks me when people give advice and then they don't fucking... I'm not going to say anything. Not going to say anything. Not going to say anything. I'm going to not say anything public. I shouldn't have said anything about it. It's just... I don't know. Will this Sokoban game be able to be run in a Docker container? Well, I'm sure it will be able to be run in a Docker container. The question is, how many other systems are you going to have to set up in order for your Docker container to function correctly to run the game? Have I ever had a bug that I just couldn't fix and had to call in a specialist for? No. No. Well, there was one time when we were trying to use someone's undocumented SDK and it was crashing, and we were asking them for help with the crash because we couldn't, because it was like just a binary that we were linking to, and they had business reasons to not help us. But if you mean in my own code that I had the source code to, no. This has not ever happened. Dependency injection. Dependency injection is one of those terms made up by people who like don't know any computer science and think that what they're doing is new. Like, I don't even understand why that became a term. It doesn't make any sense. Dependency injection is just like indirection through a struct, like people have been doing since the 1960s. Like, I don't even understand why the Hacker News kids had to make a name for that. Isn't that everything in software engineering? It's a lot of things in software engineering, for sure. Yeah, dependency injection just means function pointer in a struct. That's all it means as far as I could tell. Well, function and data pointer in a struct. Having names can be useful when discussing things without actual code already done. Yeah, but when you make complicated names for things that are simple, that's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. This is a lot of levels. Yeah, it's about 400 right now. We'll get the exact count in a second. And this doesn't include Promised 1, 2, 3, or Skipping Stones, which are all like many puzzle things. Yeah, 374 right now. And so if a promised game is about 32 puzzles, probably, then that's about 100 with the promised games, and Skipping Stones is probably about a good 25. So we've got about 500 puzzles in the game right now. Something like that. They're not all going to ship. but I think the majority of them will ship. And we're adding more. Will this include user-made levels? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe we'll ship an expansion on PC that does user-made levels. How do you know when to say, okay, we have enough puzzles? I gave an entire speech on that with Mark Ten Bosch at IndieCade 2011. You can look it up. You can look it up. I will look it up for you. That's from a long time ago now. And the thing is, what's sad is like, I would hope that in 8 years somebody would say, some other designer would say something in this direction that took it further and was sharper, and I haven't seen that. So I just pasted that video into the chat if you want. Game design really isn't advancing very much, if I'm being honest. There's a small number of people pushing game design forward, and most of the industry is just whatevering. You used to be able to say me tooing, but that means something different now. They may also be me tooing, but they're also just not really doing anything fresh or interesting. Well, so now we have invisible gems on these guys. So now I'm going to not make them invisible. What is my philosophy on content development as I implement features? I mean, I think you have to build enough content so that you can correctly build your features, right? If you're just guessing what the features are for, you may be in for a bad time. So I tend to bring them both up at the same time. I tend to have games that are playable very early, right? So The Witness was released in, well, let's start with Braid. Braid, I started in December 2014. I had a playable game after 1 week. I shipped that to friends. The actual game was done 3.5 years later. So I don't know what percentage, 99.9 something percent of Braid's development cycle was done with a playable game, right? And, you know, building out content while I was figuring things out. For Witness, it probably took longer than a week to have a playable game, but it didn't take more than a month. So again, out of like a 6.5 year development cycle, almost the entire time we had a playable game, and we were just making it better. Any opinions on visual flow-based programming languages? I mean, Blueprint seems pretty popular. People seem to be able to do stuff with it. Did I say 2014? Well, you didn't understand the time travel part of Braid's development. Let's see. You don't have much logic in your editors. Do you mean by like a blueprint kind of thing? Do I have any designers on staff who aren't programmers? We had a couple interns doing design for a bit. Right now, I am the only designer. You know, the interns were like, you know, summer intern, short-term kind of things. And they were mainly doing level design. The thing is, this game is not about random new procedural stuff happening. It's about the gameplay mechanics that are implemented in the engine combining via interesting situations. So a designer's job on this game, like this isn't the kind of game where you add a turret that fires 3 bullets and then reloads, and that's a unique thing that's not on any other level. Not this game. So we don't need that kind of thing. Did I find releasing process blogs for The Witness helpful for the team, or is it just more for the... I mean, it might have been mildly helpful for the team, but really it's just interesting to talk about what we're doing. The Witness was playable 77 months out of 78. That would be 98%. Yep. So somewhere around there. I mean, it was probably playable. I mean, it depends on what you count as playable. Like, you could probably walk around a flat-ish 3D world from day one because I started with the Happy Cake code base, I think. I either started with Happy Cake or I started with Braid and copied Happy Cake stuff in. I think I started with Happy Cake and copied Braid stuff in. I mean, you might count that as playable, but I don't think it's particularly interesting. But like the amount of time in when we had like puzzle panels that you could solve by tracing on them. I honestly don't remember how long it was, but I doubt it was more than a month-ish. Were they good interns? Yes, they were. Any plan to Pubic on iOS? No, I don't have any plans to Pubic on iOS. Happy Cake, an old project? Yes. I can only answer the questions that I am asked, people. Anyway. How long does it take to name things? I don't know. Sometimes I know the name right away. Sometimes I don't. With this game, I still don't know the name. And we've been working on it a long time. So, yeah. Okay. So. We want to not make the gems invisible, and then we'll stick them on the dude's back. And we're going to do it in a really hacky way. And, okay, so we're going to comment out the invisible flags. We're not going to change the size, so they're still going to be like randomly wrong sizes and stuff. So there's update synthetic gem visuals, and let's see where that's called from. Let's simulate. So we'll just say gem visuals from there. right? Okay. I'm just going to call those natural gems and synthetic gems. Continue. Okay, we will say pos is get position for natural gem at index. Well, we have object to world space, right? Pos equals object to world space guy pos, and see, we want to rotate the gem as well. Do we have object to world orientation? Yeah. Whoops. Okay, gem.visual position is pos, gem.orientation is ori. Almost forgot this. Very important. Do that here. Okay. So we're just sticking these on the guy. We have a mount system, so we could just mount them on the dude. I don't know why I'm not doing that. I'm asking for trouble by not doing it, but I'm not. Okay. All right, so we're just going to say, for now, these go in 2 columns. Let's say, okay, z top is, let's say 1.2 units. Z per row is 0.15. So row index is index divided by 2, column index is index mod 2. Point 1, I don't know, 0.05. Okay, so let's return vector 3. Oh, Y stride. Probably going to be way behind him. Y minus y stride if column index y is y stride. Z is z top minus row index times z per row. Okay, it's going to be a disaster because the gems are going to be giant. But let's at least see if they appear. I don't see it. Why don't I see anything? It's not invisible. Well, let's just see what we're doing. Okay. Maybe it's way in the ground. X minus 0.3, y minus 0.5, z 1.2. That seems reasonable. 11. Why is it at z equals 11? What? I'm confused. I don't see anything at z equals 11. It doesn't seem hard. Right, it's y equals, okay, never mind. This looks probably about right. So what's going on with this gem? Maybe we just don't draw gems that have attached to entity ID. Oh my God. Oh, this. The most annoying thing about trying to use Visual Studio to debug is it doesn't understand the usings from our language. So like, yeah, I have to like redecode how to get to things that I don't ever think about when I program. It's super obnoxious, but I don't really have any ideas how to fix that right now. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the level so that there's just one gem in it. And I'm going to pick up that one gem, right? And so then we will know when we go to draw things, oh, you know, because it's not in the proximity grid, we might not be rendering it. I don't know. Let's see. Let's look at where we would put our breakpoint. We could just see if we get a draw mesh entity for gem. Let's try that. We do. Okay. Oh, we're scaling it to 0. Haha, because... Yep, okay. Because attached to entity ID used to mean it was synthetic, right? But it doesn't mean that anymore. And I thought I had gone through the code looking for every instance of that, but I didn't. What is the program I'm using to search for code references in the code base? This is Bear grep. It's not that great in that it's very fuzzy on modern Windows. It doesn't understand high-res displays, but it's better than the other programs I was trying to use. It was recommended by a viewer. In this game, is the wand visible on the player when they pick it up? Yes. It's not super visible right now just because the visual design is not super completed, but yes. Okay. Let's see. Now it should just be a giant honking gem on our back. Yep. Oh, we forgot to do object to world visual. Yeah. So we need to do that because we're using our gameplay position, which is why it's popping around. That is no good. Okay, and then let's do the size thing. So we'll make it real small when you're holding it. So these size T's, oh boy, we need real small sizes. See, okay, let's not do that yet. Let's one thing at a time. Because when we did our sizing situation, we only planned for 2 sizes, and now we have 3 sizes that we interpolate between. Okay. Let's fix this. All right. You know, I'm just going to mount it on the thing rather than do this. Screw it. So when we put something into the inventory, we will say gem.mount position equals pause, orientation equals ori, and gem.mount parent ID is, oh, we could just set mount scale. Mount parent ID is guide.entity ID. In theory, that's all we have to do instead of like manually updating it. I don't know if that'll actually work. Nope. Why not? Why the hell not? It's not getting updated. I don't think that'll matter. So what is my system for this? Okay, I don't think iCall has moved on this guy. Oh, the mount tracker, we have to tell that, right? Forgot about that. Okay. Then when we drop the gem, we say remove dependency, and when we destroy held gems, actually, do we do that automatically in schedule? We don't. So that mount tracker is how the mount system knows. There we go. Okay, we're not really paying attention to mount scale right here. And we're not correctly. Okay, we're probably, when we say remove dependency, we probably already removed the parent. Wait, we just never. We never clear them out. All right. I think we're going to need some more gems. Okay, the mount scale doesn't matter because we're overriding it. And I think that's fine because we can override it again just for tiny gems on his back. So actually, let's go mount scale. Just don't bother with that. When we're drawing, when we're doing a gem, this is old. This doesn't need to be here. That has new versions that have been implemented. So when there's a gem, okay, if it's synthetic, else if gem attached to entity ID, else whatever. Scale equals gem, scale small times 0.3. Gem scale inventory. O.43, yeah. Okay. Boop. Now it's in my backpack. I need to figure out like what the bone name is for the backpack, but first things first. Okay, we need more of a stride. Why is it falling? What is happening there? That's very weird. Are they like all... It has something to do with the animation. Dude, that's real weird. Okay, so we want the columns like twice as far apart, and then we'll start doing fancy stuff for when you have a lot of gems. So now he's got like 6. Super weird what's happening there. Cannot really think of any reason for that. Anyway, so let's do something a little fancier. We'll do like 8 gems in this way. And then we'll change up the pattern. We'll start stacking them in the middle. So for the first 8, we'll do that. Then we'll just do another 9 down the middle. And then we're going to punt. By making it invisible or something. Okay. Okay, so if index is less than 8, else if index is less than 18, else we're just going to say return v3000 false. Here we're returning true, and here we're going to say, okay, also this, but y and z are going to be different. Y is 0. Z is okay. So okay. Okay. And then we'll clear it no matter what. Okay. All right, that's 8. And then, yeah, the 9th is there in the top middle. 10, 11, 12, 13, actually, I was overly ambitious. We should just allow 5 extras. And then once you've got this nice honeycomb pattern of gems on your back, it's too many. All right. Why do they collapse down like that into 2 different places is a frickin' mystery. I don't understand. But we're going to try to fix that soon. I don't think we can mount on a bone right now. We'll see. Anyway. 5 extras. We're just going to pick up a bunch of these. Okay, so now the extra ones are invisible. And then I was able to drop it and it became visible. Great. Unfortunately, I can't really drop enough. Let's go here. Let's go gems. Okay, those really didn't. Okay, so those need to show up in my inventory, the ones from my cheat command. Why? Because I want to then go over here and do this. They're there, they're just not getting, yeah. Okay. So here's my gems command, and well, so we're going to take all this. New index. It is just called index there, and there it's it. Oh no, that's new index. Wait, what? Undeclared identifier, new index. 236. Oh. That. Okay, we're going to go here. Going to go gems. It didn't do it. Oh no, then I moved and it did. What? That's really weird. Okay, so now I'm going to check this in. Actually, I'm going to run another Benny test to make sure we don't crash for some reason. And then we'll check this in, even though it's not the best. And then we'll work on actually having them move with his backpack. Any questions about what I'm doing? Maybe the cheat gem spawns in that fallen state. That shouldn't matter. I don't know why they're sinking down to the root of the guy's body. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. We'll find out what's going on there. It's probably something really weird. Bunny test. The name mount tracker sounds slightly object-oriented like a manager class. Well, it stores the mounts that need to be tracked. I mean, what do you want? What do you want me to call that? Someone somewhere needs to track what is mounted on what. It's actually not object-oriented, because object-oriented programmers would say that that information belongs to the thing that's mounted or something, or the person who it's mounted on. In reality, it's a cross-cutting concern, right? Like, I have something called Entity Manager, so I don't understand what is supposed to be the objection against a manager class. You need to manage things. It's part of the job that you need to do. So if you want to tell me what the objection is supposed to be there, because I have to say that I don't really understand it, that's all. Is that code very data-oriented? Not particularly. No. The whole don't have a manager class thing, it sounds like every other programming rule where somebody took an idea and extrapolated it to everywhere, which doesn't make sense to me. Look, Taharua, or however you pronounce your name, for a while I was putting up with your random questions and stuff, but at some point it's going to get tiring. Like, I want to, the reason I have chat is because I want to interact with people in a good way. Sometimes I get a little ranty for that. But in general, like, I want to have honest, straightforward, valuable interactions with people in the channel. And if you're going to flood me with obnoxious questions that don't make any sense, I'm just going to ban you from the channel. I'm sorry. I banned Insobot before. It's just what I do with people who increase the noise in the channel. Have you considered adding some metrics to determine how much time you're currently spending waiting for the game to load? We did that a little bit, and then we fixed those things, but now there's more things. It's just what happens in games. You fix things, and then if you're doing any actual work, you're going to have more problems, because you create problems in the process of making the game. So like, yeah, we will go instrument it to figure out what's taking time again. We already did that. We'll do it again later. You're confused. Why do the gems physically have to be there instead of in some counter you can just reference and pull them out of thin air? Well, they were. At the start of today's stream, they were in a counter, and we did pull them out of thin air. But instead of drawing a HUD in the corner telling you how many gems you want, I wanted you to just look at your character and see how many gems you have. Okay? So the whole situation here is all about just making things more visual and in the world and on the character. You know, and that's just what we're trying. If for some reason it's not a good idea, we'll revert it, but it seems like a good idea to me. So yeah, they're super glitchy right now. It's just they'll get better because that's how things are, is they get better. I wonder if they're like actually physically falling. That could be a thing, but they're also crunching toward the guy's origin, which makes me think it's not falling. It makes me think some kind of iterated scale is happening. Oh. Okay, after the bending test, and we check it in, I bet the mount system doesn't do the right thing when the mount scale is not 1.0. I bet that's a bug somehow. Although then why would it reset when we animate? Doesn't make any sense, dude. I don't think we really have a problem with people flooding by volume of messages, so I don't feel the need to put a slow mode yet. Okay, any more on-topic questions about what we are doing here before I check this in and move on to the next thing? How are gems handled when switching? Just stuck on the character that picks it up first? Well, this is the only character that can pick up gems.
This a bitter herb.
The other
Telling the
characters
truth is a dangerous tunnel. When you get out of that tunnel,
can only
it's
push
got
and pull.
bitter black life ahead. Forget herb. I never heard of a hit that had the word herb in it. Telling the truth is a dangerous thing. Dangerous! Telling the truth can be dangerous what? Danger. Telling the truth can be dangerous. Telling the truth can be dangerous. Telling the truth can be dangerous.
What is the mount system used for in game besides gems now? Sometimes particles. So like force fields have particle entities attached to them. In some rare cases, we mount things on other things. Like there's a multi-level level with like blocks stacked on each other, and there's an exit and a force field on top of one of the blocks, and they are mounted on top of that block as opposed to just resting on it. In general, like exit floor pads and like buttons, like pressure plates, get mounted on things because we don't expect them to move generally. I don't know if that's really the right way to do it, but it's how we do it right now. Is programming 90% iteration and like 10% planning? I don't know, man. Like, here's the thing. I have always not done that much planning, and it works great for me. But part of that is you do have to be trying to go the right way all the time. You can't be just doing something random. And as you get more and more experience, you know, your initial plan comes out better. But even, you know, even back in the late 90s, I was always just a sit down and do it guy. Like, I never like wanted to sit there with a piece of paper for 10 days before I started programming. Have pistons and conveyor belts been implemented yet? No, and they will not be in this game because we just have too many elements already. Okay. We didn't crash. We didn't fail on anything more. Doesn't mean there isn't something bad going on behind the scenes, but it's so weird that it... Something buggy is happening. Okay, so now let's commit that. Put gems visibly on promised guys body part 1. Oh, we never checked in our tests for the self-teleporting levels that are still in drafts. In fact, we never checked in the self-teleporting levels. Well, now we have. Okay, so do we do mount bones? We don't right now. So we're going to try to resurrect this support. I mean, should I go look at the witness to figure this out? I didn't even copy that part. So this thing was about like, hey, if you're mounted on a bone index, well, we specify that by the name. And that name needs to get looked up, and we don't want to look it up every frame. So we look it up in the guy once. When the game logic levels, etc., are starting to get done, do you have a strategy for the optimization work that you usually do, or do you just profile, debug, and optimize until it feels polished enough? Do you have a strategy for the optimization work, or do you just profile, debug, and optimize? Well, I mean, you can't really optimize for real until you have content, like, which mostly means graphics, or maybe the things you're colliding against and doing physics against. Because without that real data, which means real levels that you're trying to play, you don't know what's really going to take time. You can theorize about that. And if you're doing a good job of engineering, then you will have a plan for why you will be able to make your stuff fast. But until you're running on real data, you don't actually know for real. So you can't optimize for real until you're trying to ship a completed game. You can't optimize for real. It's real optimization is very empirical. It's very reality based. And I mean, almost no programmers in the world do real optimization anymore. Almost nobody knows how to. Like, people think that they optimize, and they do manage to remove dumb stuff and get their things to go faster, but it's mostly like bullshit optimization. Like, real optimization is a skill that almost no programmers exhibit. So, in fact, I've only done real optimization in a small number of instances in my life. I almost never do it. And I care way more about speed than most programmers. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. For a game of this scale, you assume a chunk-based loading system is not needed and maybe a LOD scaling down system for the art assets. I don't think we need a LOD system because it's a top-down camera view. So, you know, level of details are for distant things. Chunk-based loading, I don't know. We might need that, we might not. Hard to say. Have I tried to measure the utilization of the features and estimate the performance benefits? No, we haven't done that. Nope. We're just too busy working on the game. All right. So here, I'm bummed that so that stuff moved to initial mount position we don't actually need. We need this one. Okay, we do set this to -1. Do we use grid Z index? I don't think we do. You might want to take that out. If there was one skill set I could just download to my brain matrix style, what would it be? I don't know. That's difficult. What does skill set mean? You mean like any topic in programming? Like any subdomain in programming? You've had situations where multiple drives failed in the same week. Have I ever had this happen? No, I haven't had a drive failure in a really long time. Like, I don't even remember when the last time was that I had a drive failure. A skill set that makes sense for a movie? That is an off-topic question. I would learn to program. How's that? I think we could all learn to program, and that would be a good idea. So I'm trying to decide if I should do just the full bite the bullet and implement general mounting on a bone, which I think I probably should, or if there's some way to sleaze out of it. Let's look at the witness source code. So this is the equivalent function that we basically ported over. So faster object to worlds did that? Interesting. Let's see. Oh, I just replaced this with Lamo. Wait, this is goofy. Why are we doing that? Well, let's look at the witness version. Oh my God, he just like straight up inlined all this stuff, which is what makes sense, I guess. Okay. So I probably should have I think on the animation player, it's so weird that he did it like this. I feel like you could blow out to matrices instead, because you already started with a matrix. Maybe we didn't care about speed, because things are not mounted that often on bones. Okay. Output matrices. So I think we just take that output matrix and we can transform the point. The orientation is annoying. Player dot output. Hopefully I can do a matrix 4x3 multiply. We'll do this actually up here. This is local. Okay. Now, we need to get the animation player. I guess that's fine. That's enough of a check. So we don't have a mount bone index yet. Entity struct gets even bigger. Oh yeah. At some point, we might just put that in the mount record and not have entities record this. That would be weird for the editor, though. I don't know how we'd handle that. All right. Mount. Parent ID. Okay, so that, here we could say mount bone name is a string. And then on the entity, we'll put the index. Oh boy. So many overloads of operator times. We don't have a matrix 4x3? What? Multiply. Transform point. All right, fine. I guess it makes sense to do that instead of a multiply operator. All right. We don't actually set that bone index to anything. So there's that. Didn't get the animation player. Let's just go to the witness version again. It's not in that file. Okay, well. Comma, IDE, ID parent, return. Okay. We tried deduplicating log messages automatically, and it wasn't the right thing. Like searching through the log for a match is not something that you actually want to silently happen, or it gets confusing when you expect to see fresh messages and you don't see them. So, well, then what? I was going to do this. For player dot something. Node named index map. If it is equal to e.mountBone name index is cast as 32 it break. If index is -1, with non-existent bone name, IDE, ID parent, e.mountBone name. Okay. Else e.mountBone index is index. Okay. It index. Okay. So we ensure the index is initialized. We could maybe move that somewhere else later. So then we want to set the mountBone index, or the mountBone name. I don't know what bone to mount it on, so let's what's this guy called? Moon Man. Okay, so backpack. Sure are a lot of backpack straps. Let's try this. Okay. So when we do this stuff, Well, I have no idea what that's going to do. It's probably a disaster. Well, it doesn't look like non-existent bone name. Moonman, rigged backpack. Oh, we might strip after the colon. I think I remember we did that for compatibility across guys, so let's try deleting that. Well, it thinks it's doing it, I guess. I don't really believe that. It looks like we're getting the same result. To a T. So weird. So weird. Like they're just chilling in there. They're just chilling down at the root. And just chilling in there. See, he's a golem operated by a diamond heart. Any ideas on how to get back your passion for programming after losing a lot of it due to depression and having to take classes that you hate? College has sucked most of the motivation out of me for programming, and I have a lot of trouble concentrating on a daily basis. If that's happening, I would quit college, dude, right now, or at least take a break. Seriously. It's not worth it. College does not give you very much except for a piece of paper and lost time. And a lot of lost money these days, too. So, like, take a break, work on things you actually take a break, don't program at all. Then, after some time has passed, just see if you want to fiddle with things and just follow your curiosity. Follow what makes you interested. You know, Richard Feynman has a small discussion about that. And I forget where it is. But, you know, he talks about being super depressed and then getting back his interest in physics just by playing with problems that don't seem to matter just for the enjoyment of it. And so, you know, everybody's personality is a bit different, but maybe that can work for you. I don't know. What if you're not motivated to work hard? I didn't say anything right now about working hard. What are you talking about? You're halfway through, you gotta finish? Why do you say that? Can you not even take 6 months off or a year off? Why? if you legit can't take any time off, then there's probably some other things you can do to make it more bearable while you're there. But in my experience, most people say they can't do something just because they're not taking seriously the possibility that they could do it. And if they took that seriously, they would realize they totally can do that thing. Okay, you want to finish, and you've already taken some time off, a whole semester. Well, I mean, if you're only halfway through and you hate it, you're probably not going to hate it less. So, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I mean, the problem is everybody's different, and what's right for me is not really right for you. I don't have a degree because I quit school because it made me depressed. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I can look at why this isn't the right thing. Let's make it debug builds. Oh yeah, faster object to world. Okay, let's give it a frame. Oh, it's parent.animationPlayer. I am dumb. See, if I had gotten a college degree, I would have typed parent.animationPlayer instead of e.animationPlayer, and it all would be better. So we still have this problem. So now the things are embedded in the backpack, which is kind of cool. I think for now, till we redesign the backpack for it to have gem slots or something, that's fine. We'll just make them go a little bit more back. So I think what's going on is when he is not, there's like two problems happening. When he's not moving, we're probably not maintaining mounts, first of all. And then when we're not maintaining mounts, for some reason, the positions of these things are decaying. They're going to, oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. Okay. So the not maintaining mounts is also going to be a problem. Oh, we're not. Okay. Let me just fix what's going on. So things that are mounted should not be considered here. We'll make sure that we didn't break something. But so that should get rid of this things drifting. So that drifting inward code was a separate thing trying to take control. Yeah. So now the problem is they're just freezing as soon as we stop. That's no good. So like things with a skeleton that have children, we just need to assume they're animating all the time. See, they just kind of freeze. Oh yeah, I was going to test torus blocks. Could it be connected to the wrong bone? It always could be connected to the wrong bone. I don't actually know what bone that is that I connected it to. I just found one that seemed fine. What'll really happen is probably we'll attach each one to a separate bone. That could very realistically be what we do. And then they can just move individually. They could like jangle as he moves, which would be cool. Okay, did we screw this up? No. Okay. Well, so now we want to update the guy even when he's not moving. So we want to, when we call maintain mounts, before we do that, actually, any mesh with a skeleton okay. Wait, what do we do about the... Okay, those aren't separate things, I guess. Yeah, okay. Okay. I get it. Any mesh with a skeleton. Okay, so for moving entities, if, how do we know, well, if it.animation, well, let's call it E. If E.animation player if it dot E is equal to E found equals true, what do we use these for? Who uses all that information on Entity Move Record? I don't think anybody uses all that. You may have a fun time simplifying that. Okay, so okay. See what happens with that. So we just check to see if the guy is already in there. If he isn't, we add him. Hey, look, it's not freezing out. I forgot to move him further back. Look at this. Okay. Because I don't know how this bone is oriented, I don't know what the coordinate system is, so I'm just going to guess. I'm just going to hope it's the x-axis. Yep. Okay. Look at all these gems we have, man. Okay. Benny test, and then we'll check it in. You think of middle gems need to have a bit more of an offset. We could do that right now just for fun. Let's do that just for fun. But we don't want to work that hard on making it look good, because we're going to do we're going to do something more real than this, right? My sticking them there is just a way of kind of making sure that, no, I shouldn't have reduced it. But yeah, so those ones are in front right now. Let me go change. I pulled the rest of them in, and maybe that's not so good, but yeah. But yeah, like the real content thing is to add bones for each one, because then they're artist controlled and so forth. Let's just go up to 9. Yeah. So after 6, it'll go to the middle, 7, 8, 9. And then after 9, it just... You don't very often carry more than 9 in these games. See, and if you have at least one gem, you can pretty much see it from all angles. Once you have a lot, like I don't know how many I have from here, but you know. If you're wearing this pack on your back, you better remember, because it's hard to turn around and see. When did this become a free-to-play mobile game? Today. Actually, yeah, today or yesterday. I forget when I made the gems super big. Each one of these gems only costs 99 cents. And, whoops. All right. Will I have a GUI element showing how many I have? No. No. The entire point was to get rid of that. What about a pack of 10 gems? You can get a pack of 10 gems for only $9.98. That is a discount over buying them 99 cents each. Maybe it should briefly flash the number above his head. Maybe, but once you have that many gems, like, you probably have to play the game to know, but you know, once you've got that many gems, you don't need to count. You only really need to count when you're in the like up to 6 range. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play test it, but you know, I suspect that knowing up to 9 is fine. It's a discount of -8 cents. All right. We are running a test. Any more on-topic questions? While this is running, I'm going to type an email to the people. I'm going to say, as an attempt to get UI kinds of things to get, well, the game's UI a little closer to something we would want to ship. I removed the promised gem HUD and am displaying carried gems on the character's backpack up to 9 for now. I think it's working well. It would be cool to design a backpack with gem slots and have a bone for each so that the animations can include some gem movement. For if we decide to do things this way, we would also want to think about how to handle risk stone treasures and tree trunk. If we don't want to put them on a HUD, it would be similarly. Oh, thanks for the raid, man. What is even the point of staying in college, but you are forced by your parents to go? Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did get turned down one time, at least because I didn't have a degree, maybe for other reasons, for a job. It was a job I didn't want to. It was like working at an investment firm to try to make some money to keep my first company going. It was not the play. So it's good that they turned me down. Okay. Compose. Okay. Well, that might be everything I want to do tonight, programming-wise. Oh, wait, I haven't checked it in yet. I'm just going to check it in. Then I'll fix it if it breaks. You've mentioned how 1996 was the worst time to start a company. Do you think you would still start one if you were someone who just left school today? Yes. It is so much easier to start a company now. You have no idea. You have no idea. There wasn't all this infrastructure for startup companies that there is now. It was a totally different world, man. And it's way easier to make games now than it ever has been. So, yeah. Will the plants and foliage have an animation? I don't know. Probably not, maybe. Have you seen Confessions of a Dangerous Mind? Yes, I like that movie. I saw it twice back when it came out in the theater. Would I hire you if you were a game developer? Well, I don't hire most game developers. Not only because we're just a small company and not really hiring.
Dangerous business. Telling the truth can be dangerous business.
Why? Why? Why?
Telling the truth can be dangerous business.
Because if yourself,
Because
you
if
don't
you
know why.
Huh?
Well, I'm just giving you what the idea is.
Telling the truth can be dangerous business.
If you don't know yourself, then you don't know why.
Oh, is that brilliant?
Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Honest and popular don't go hand in hand. If you admit that you can play the accordion, no one will hire you in a rock and roll band.
But we can't
We can sing our hearts out. And if we're lucky, we'll no neighbors complain.
We made it all the way through Dangerous Business. That means we have a lot of levels. It's also much easier starting a company before you have a shitload of responsibilities, like when you leave college. That is also true. Also true. Are the artists just sort of chugging through levels, starting with the ones that are the most done being designed? Yeah, what we're sort of doing now is taking some of the more complex 3D levels that we've designed and just seeing how the art style applies to those and what we might need to change and stuff. You know, eventually we want to get to the point where we're ready to turn the crank on a bunch of levels, and then we could just either contract out to another studio or, you know, get a few individual contractors in to just crank through the bulk of the work on a bunch of the levels. But we're not at that point. You have to have everything very nailed down before that can be successful. Well, we streamed for 3 hours. I'm a little tired now. I don't know why. Maybe because we did so many long days. We had good progress. I wasn't necessarily expecting to finish this today. This was a relatively incomplete implementation of mounting stuff on particular bones. For example, we're not doing orientation yet. But we probably will be able to. Let's see. Transform point, transform vector. We don't have a transform quaternion, which kind of sucks. Anyway. You're guessing you want to make some art that can easily be reused in multiple levels? Yes, that is what we want to do. It is easier said than done. We've already got that. So for the islands and stuff, we've got a certain amount of that. We probably will need more to have more variety in the islands. But yeah, for stuff that's like a bunch of walls and bridges and whatever, it's probably not as easy. How many times has someone made a clever pun from my last name? Exactly 0 times has that ever happened. Let's see what's going on.
So, welcome, Vanderfords.
Oh, Grims is playing Mordhau. Oh, it has better graphics now. What's going on? Ah. All right.
Man, we're playing some long range guild.
All right. Let's look at some science and technology. Mordhau is a melee fighting game. Am I really coming to Moscow? Yes, if they will give me my Russian visa in time, which I don't know if that's going to happen. Are lexical closures in the language fast? They're very fast because we don't have them right now. When we do have them, they will be fast, yes. That looks like John Carmack, but I don't think it is. I think it's a random dude who looks like John Carmack. What looks good? I guess the Ludum Dare is over. Frickin' security hardware. Wacky Golfland. That could be quality. He's got flashy lights in the background. But he's not, has no audio. This doesn't look like a super eventful stream. Maybe we'll come back there. Yeah, no, hostile chat is not cool. If chat is that hostile again next time, I'll just start banning people. It's not good. I didn't do it this time because whatever, but if that's the way chat is going to go, we'll just turn off chat, honestly. I kind of don't really, maybe everybody's tired of game development after Ludum Dare and they're like all hitboxes. Okay, he's talking about
I have
stuff.
like a radio button
So we'll do this.
or a checkbox, right?
Wait, why is he talking about
The
UI?
hit area for this checkbox is not, it's not this. You know, this is not the hit area for the checkbox. The hit area for the checkbox is probably this. Most of the time, you know, if this is the label for it as well.
All right, we'll do this. This is the most reasonable game development that we've seen. Lisp stream. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. And we will do some more things a different time.